Hello my crafty friends. Today I'm going to attempt to share an unboxing video. I've actually had my product for about a week, but unfortunately I came down with a very nasty case of bronchitis. And so I'm finally getting my voice back. But I did want to share just so you could start saving your rewards now. Start planning some of your budget because there's so much new stuff, not only in the upcoming May online exclusives, but also in the brand new May catalog. Now, I can't show you the inside of any of these, but I do have a lot of the product in my hands, and so I can show you the actual product. I'm going to do my best to get through this without coughing. I may have to pause the video and come back, but I did want to make sure that you saw everything. So first, on May 5th, we'll have a huge selection, well, not a huge selection of online exclusives, but there'll be plenty that you'll want. Just trust me. Probably the number one thing you can see on the front is a silly old bear. Due to some copyright issues, this is only available in the United States. But trust me, it's been very, very popular. Everybody I have talked to has some fond memories of this silly old bear. My kids alone all were either huge fans of Tigger or Pooh. As you can see, these are the classic Pooh. So very, very cool. So I do want to share that product with you. That's about all I have from the online exclusives. I had to pick. I've got more coming. Don't tell my husband, but I do have more coming. And then we have this brand new catalog that will be coming out. If you're a customer of mine, you've either picked it up, or I've been in conversations with you to pick it up, or I have you on my mailing list and you'll get one mailed directly from Stampin' Up. I have already had some time to go through and add on my labels. This catalog is so organized and just absolutely beautiful. Much more of what all the demonstrators and customers have been asking for. You'll see all the stamps, all the dies, all the punches. And then the other thing you'll notice is this doesn't say annual catalog. It is a May through August catalog. Stampin' Up! Has pretty much decided that they're going to put out 3 mid-size catalogs throughout the year. There will be a list of products that do carry over throughout the entire year, but it will not be everything from the entire catalog. But everything is just so fun. And I may or may not have gone a little bit overboard. It depends on who's listening to this video. So I can't show you the insides, but I can show you the front. Nice little picture of the back. Just really beautiful stuff. Super organized. I've got lots of little tabs there so we can see all the stamps together, all the bundles together, all the sweets together, all the dies, all the punches. There'll be pages just like it used to be several years ago. So very, very fun. And before I forget, as of yesterday, the last chance list was updated. And so there's a lot of fantastic product, not only from the January through April catalog that's been moved to the last chance list, but also a lot of product from the annual catalog, as well as still a lot of stuff that's fall and Christmas that is available. I always want to remind my customers, check the prices. Don't just buy a suite because it says it's last chance. If you can check and make sure that you're spending wisely. Some of the products may actually be cheaper to buy them individually instead of buying them bundled as a suite. That's because they don't discount bundles or suites, but they do discount the individual die and the individual stamp. So that's just a friendly reminder. So on to the stars of the show, at least initially, and that is our brand new In Colors. I haven't even opened my ink pad, so like I said, I placed this big order and actually paid a little bit extra to have it shipped to me so that I could do this last weekend. And then literally the box sat for about 5 days because I didn't even have the strength or the energy to open it. But here they are. You can kind of see them. We have Hydrangea Hue, which is just this gorgeous kind of periwinkle blue. And you can see what it looks like. This is just the size I use for my color swatches. And as well as the blends, going to be very, very beautiful. I cannot wait to play with them. I haven't even opened them or put the labels on them. Then we have Barely Blush, which is this gorgeous pale pink. But it's like a true pale pink. It's not necessarily that petal pink color. It's really a Barely Blush. I have seen some things where these stamp and it stamps rather light. So I will try and do another video soon showing all of that stuff. Next up is a returning color, although it's new to me. And that's that Crisp Cantaloupe, which I'm already loving this color, and I'm just loving this combination of colors together. Just absolutely beautiful. Another one that I'm really kind of liking right now is Golden Glow. I think it is just beautiful. It's this gorgeous gold sunflower-ish color. I think it is going to be beautiful. And I'm just thinking I should have tried it with our sunflower embossing folder. Something to try this week. The other one that I really, really like, although I love all the greens that we have, I'm really, really happy that we have this nice Peaceful Pine color. I think it is going to be a great addition to the lineup. I have the blends in all those. These are the new ink pads. I haven't opened them. They are magnetic, so they'll open from the side. You can see because they'll stick together. See if I can. So I'm just kind of, they'll hold together. They're strong enough. A little bit bigger. I have heard that I haven't stamped with them to compare how they stamp yet. I've heard it's a little bit different than our foam pads, where the foam pads, maybe you just tap, tap, tap. These you might have to ink up a little bit more, but they supposedly hold more ink, and they're so much easier to open. But I'll try and do that later. If not, there's lots of videos online about that, so I did want to share that. So let me clear these kind of off to the side of my desk so that we can move on. I'm going to kind of try and leave these up here because it's going to be very, very cool in a minute. Other things that we have that are kind of new. We do have a new basic black hybrid ink. I haven't tried this yet. Obviously, everything is still sealed. It is supposed to be great for working with not only our watercolor images and our watercolor pencils and water, but also with our blends. I have heard, I haven't tried, that it's a little bit tough to open. There's a little bitty lip on the sides that is supposed to make it easier. So I'll look into that. I've heard that it really needs a tight seal in order to make sure that that hybrid ink doesn't dry out. There's also some drying time involved. Now, I have worked with other hybrid inks in the past when I was with other companies. And one of the things we sometimes had to do is we had to give it a little shot with our heat gun just to dry it quicker. Mostly because most of us aren't very patient and we don't want to wait that long. We do have a new gel pen, actually new white gel pens. I always say that white gel pens have been the bane of my existence. I have searched for years, and I have a husband who actually does artwork, and he has searched for white gel pens that work and work consistently. I have heard from people that were on stage that the key is to go slow. So let's just see. And it works right out of the box. That's already a start. And I'm writing kind of fast, but if I slow down, it looks like it's writing very, very quick, very good. So it's one of those things that I think is going to be really, really cool for us to play with. So really happy to see those. I'm hoping that those stay. If they do, I will be buying tons of them. I really miss them from my scrapbooking days. I have not found a decent white gel pen in probably about 15 years. So I'm really, really hoping that this is something that works well. All right, on to the rest of the show. I have this. It's not super organized because, like I said, I finally had a little bit of energy to come through and just get everything kind of labeled and sorted so I could play with it. So it's not in any particular order. But this is, if anybody's curious, I actually store all my 8.5 by 11 in a 12 by 12 sheet or envelope that I get off of Amazon. I do label them, and then they go, I have a paper rack, and I keep them all in there, and I sort them by color. This is perfect because as I pick up the two-tone cardstock, that also fits in there, and I keep that way, and it's beautiful. And then I store my scraps just in a hanging folder so that I have them. So next up, there is a new impressions plate. So this is new to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss system. So this is actually going to allow you, haven't played with it yet, but first thing, with certain dies, the impressions dies, you will be able to die cut your die, and then you can turn around and or flip the die over, change to put this mat in place of your cutting mat, and run it through it again, and it will actually emboss the images off your dies. So there are a couple of die sets in the new catalog that will do that. I have one here. I'll bring this out again when we have it, but it just came up to the top in the box, so I'm just going to set that off to the side. First up, I am going to bring out the Bloom Boutique suite. Now, I did not get the whole suite. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll pick up what I feel are the essentials, and then I will go back and get other stuff. But as you can see, I left the colors out because the colors in this are absolutely all of the brand new colors. We had the Crisp Cantaloupe, which is just beautiful. This is the back side in the Golden Glow. If you can see it, it is a specialty paper. So one side has that gold leafing or the gold accents on it. Beautiful hydrangea hue. And the image could go either way. Just a great background paper, great for scrapbooking. And then you've got these nice, beautiful, dainty flowers. Absolutely just beautiful. I can't wait to play with it. I love how all these colors are playing off of each other. You have the Peaceful Pine with these delicate little flowers, with the backside being, again, a specialty paper in the hydrangea hue. So just really beautiful paper, nice subtle background paper, with a nice beautiful paper. This one actually has some of the Barely Blush, if you can see it up there, as well as the Crisp Cantaloupe and the Peaceful Pine. So it just kind of goes with everything. This is the Peaceful Pine again, and then you've got the hydrangea hue paper. You have the Crisp Cantaloupe with Crisp Cantaloupe, hydrangea hue, Barely Blush, and Peaceful Pine, and a little bit of Golden Glow in there too. So this one has like all the images. So this would be perfect for scrapbooking because it's so small. Great for card making, great for scrapbooking, whatever you want to do. Baby cards, wedding cards, just thinking about you cards. So just beautiful paper. I can't wait to play with that. In that suite also comes two, it's kind of like a mega suite, so it's got two complete stamp and die sets. So there is the stamp set. So this is a two set, kind of distinctive stamp set, where you stamp the image and then you stamp the filler or you color it in. So it's got the rose, that you've got another flower, that leaves, little buds, little daisies, and a background stamp. It does come with dies that actually cut out those images, as well as a couple extras. So very, very fun there. And then we have these Scallop Blooms, which I will say the sentiments stamps in this catalog are just to die for. There's this great mix of typed written and script, and just a lot of mixed greetings that I feel like I will actually use. And And then the star of the show with this particular suite is also the nesting dies. I cannot wait to play with these scallops. These make great inserts. There is some coordinating gift boxes that go with this. I did not get those yet. I'm sure I will. We've got, you know, font blocks, sentiment blocks, little leaves, little circles for centers of the flowers. I really want to try something with this. When I see this, there was an old technique I used to use where I layered nesting dies like this that looked like flowers, layered them together and made a multi-level flower. So that's kind of on my list. We'll see if that works out. If it does, I'm sure you'll see it because I'll be sharing it. And then this also comes in the suite. Everybody who knows me knows I literally cried when my little brass butterflies went away. Not really sure why, but then I saw these and I understood that, okay, I'm getting more butterflies, so it's okay. But you can see just these beautiful little flat pearl butterflies, and they are just adorable. So that came in the suite. And once again, that was the Bloom Boutique suite. Get it as a suite or separate, whichever is your prerogative. I am going to move these off now because that coordinates with this. I am going to go to a standalone. I'm talking butterflies. Oh, I'm a sucker for punches. When I decided to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I was really looking through a lot of my product that I had in my craft room. And one of the things I had a ton of was Stampin' Up! Punches. And they last forever. Knock on wood. I've never had a problem with any of them. I have several other punches that have broken over the years. I haven't had problems with these. I even have some very, very old butterfly ones. I like never get rid of them. Everyone's like, well, why don't you just get rid of them, part with them? Because I love them and I just use them all the time. So this is the all the Flutter stamp and punch bundle. So it's got the butterflies that you can punch out. You can stamp the shadow. You can stamp just the outline of the butterfly. You can stamp the colors of the butterfly. So you could really just kind of play around and do a couple different things. There's also these little bitty butterflies. There's the butterfly trail. I love the fluttering by to say, hi, friend, you're so appreciated and thinking of you today. And I really love the title because it always reminds me of my grandma who was always called them flutterbys instead of butterflies. And so it just was kind of like a sweet memory. But I love butterflies and I love flutterbys. So I can't wait to play with this. That is definitely top on my list. This is a standalone stamp set. And like I said, I'm not going in any order. It's just whatever order they're in my box. This is Susan Kentfield's $1 Million Stamp Set. This is a Phrases and Frames. And this is one of those impressions dies. You can see it says Stampin' Cut and Emboss dies. They have extra dimensions. So you can cut out the image with the die and then you turn it over with this impressions plate in place instead of one of the cutting dies, and then it will emboss all the images on those cutting dies. So I can't wait to share that. And just look at all these fantastic sentiments. It's what I said I always wanted, was lots of sentiments all in one place so that I have them and I don't have to search all the time. I'm getting much better at categorizing them where I need them. But I love this, you know, especially when I do a card class. I like to have multiple sentiments for people to choose from, and because not everybody needs a birthday card, not everybody needs a thinking of you card. And so I always get, well, don't you have happy anniversary? And it just makes it so much easier when everything is there. And I love the fact that it's got, you know, thinking of you, and then something for the inside, sending prayers and heartfelt sympathy. Happy anniversary, Anniversaries are for celebrating the joys of today and memories of yesterday and hopes of tomorrow. So it's just a great standalone set that moved right to my top. Just in case you're wondering how I store them, my personal way to store them is the stamps go on front. I flip it over so that the dies are on the back, and I just rubber band them, and then they go in my bin, and then they're always together. If one of them gets retired, the stamp may get filed like with my sentiments, and this will get filed with like frame dies or something like that. But for the most part, I keep them together, especially if they're cutting out images specifically on those stamps. Next up, I have a standalone paper, which is not normally my style, but I've seen so many cute things with it already that I wanted to try it. And this is the Artisan Sketched Garden. It is black and white, and now what I've seen is that people are actually taking it and they're cutting out these images, and then they are coloring them with their blends or their watercolor pencils and just making great cards and everything. So you can see, here's one of the images. Then you've got these beautiful, beautiful flowers with black and white polka dots that could be used on so many things. Roses, large, kind of like a spray with a little bitty leaf background. I've got more roses with this lovely large floral print. Would be great for a black and white card. Would be great to just blend over this with a blending brush to match whatever color background you wanted to use. So say you wanted a hydrangea hue card or a melon mambo card or whatever, you had these flowers, you could just blend right over them and it would instantly match. More roses from a bouquet with some black and white stripe. Great for mixing and matching. Would be great for borders like on the edge of a paper, if you can imagine that, like on a scrapbook page or something like that. So much fun. And then we've got these lovely bouquets. Tulips, I'm thinking tulips. Shout out to my future daughter-in-law, that is her favorite flower, and we're working on some stuff with that for her. And then we have just this nice black and white kind of botanical print. So very, very cool. I've had black and white before, but I'm really kind of excited about this one. I think it's going to be really fun. That is the Artisan Sketch Garden paper. Next up is the Velvet Meadow assortment. I admit when I saw this one, I wasn't too sure. I was like, do I need more florals? And the more I kept looking at this paper, the more I wanted it. Kind of hard to see when I leave it in the shininess, isn't it? So this is this gorgeous paper that has so many fun things. Hold on. I don't want to lose the label. I always save the labels of these. And I usually just, it's a specialty paper. You can tell because the label's not on the white sheet of paper. So this is actually kind of flocked. And so I don't know if you can see the texture, but there's actual flocking on this. And just the colors are just absolutely beautiful. Featuring Basic Beige, Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, Cloud Cover, Daffodil Delight, and Peaceful Pine. But just think these are just so pretty. Here's the B side of that paper. Just a very nice subtle paper. It's going to be great to work with. Next up is this lovely B side. Is just a very subtle, hard to tell. It might be Cloud Cover. It could be Peaceful Pine, a very light thing. And then I love it when they do these, you know, so very upset to see my perennial lavender paper go, but very, very excited for a paper like this. I love that it's got this light yellow color. I love that these little white flowers are flocked. Cannot wait to play with those. I think it's gonna be so much fun. Another very subtle page here, and then this is the B side of that. And on here, all the little white stamens on the flowers are flocked. So very, very subtle, but it's one of those things that you just want to reach out and touch it. And I can just imagine sending this. I send a lot of cards to family members and that I don't see all the time. A lot to aunts and uncles and that type of thing. Obviously, I don't think I'd be sending the flowers to my uncles, but I do send them to my aunts just to let them know I'm thinking of them. They're a very important part of our life growing up and even as we get older. So I just can imagine them. You're just being excited if they look at it and feel it. Here's that nice little cloud cover background with the front side. This is just got cloud cover background with some peaceful pine leaving and then some little white flowers. So very, very dainty. Would be perfect for sympathy card if you needed to do it, or even a wedding card. And can you tell I got wedding on the brain? We're doing some planning for that. So here is another cloud cover background paper. Absolutely beautiful. And then this beautiful white, bright pink, which is really, I guess, berry burst, but it does, and bubble bath. But it's just bright, and all this white is all flocked and raised. And literally, you just, when you see it, you just want to touch it. So super, super excited. A little bit of that Daffodil Delight with another just gorgeous paper that would just really make great one-sheet wonders. Would be great to cut up. Like, you could easily cut this page up here and get 6 4x6 cards. If you only want to use 4x4, you could get 9 cards out of just this one sheet of paper. And, you know, mix and match the colors. Do some on white, do some on the Melon Mambo, do some with the background, and I think you would just, you know, have a great little card set to give to somebody. So that is the Velvet, hold on, that is the Velvet Meadow suite. This is one that I did get the entire suite. So there is more to share with this. Give me just a second. Sorry. Okay, we'll just go with this. It has these amazing gems. I don't know if you can see them. They're white flowers in big and small pink, or bubble bath, and then the berry burst, which berry burst is just one of my favorite colors. I just love the bright pink. It does have a stamp set. I debated about getting the stamp set because I felt it was a little similar to some of the other stamps that we've had recently, but I really like this little cone flower. I like some of the sentiments in here. I'm always for a just because and a thanks. You always make me smile. And thanks just for showing you cared. You know, I've had people that know I've been sick and they've been checking in on me just to see if I needed anything, offering to run to the store for my husband or I. We had a couple of days where he was down too. He got his shingle shot, and it was his second one, so he was feeling a little rough for a couple of the same days. The dies on this do cut out the images. I'm not really sure if they'll cut out any images here on the paper or not, but they're a great addition. And then there is one more item that goes with this, if I can get to it here. And that is the Velveteen Assortment. And this is just an assortment of velvet papers in Bubble Bath, Peaceful Pine, and White. Now, I admit that I still have my velvet papers from Christmas and I didn't play with them. But I promised myself I'm going to. So it's got this nice pink velvet. You get 2 sheets of each, it looks like. So pink, Peaceful Pine, and then the white. So going to be super fun. I thought it would be great to either cut out a frame, cut out some extra flowers just to stick on the page. Who knows, maybe die cut a sentiment or something. I'm not really sure if you can stamp or emboss on that. But that is the Velvet Meadow Suite. And if you're coming to my card classes, don't forget, I'd really be interested in knowing what you want to see first. Because it's going to take us a while to get through all this stuff. And so if there's a certain product you'd really like me to highlight first, let me know. The next one is the Waterside Retreat. For those of you that are Paper Pumpkin subscribers, this actually matches the April kit or coordinates with the April kit. So if you get the April Paper Pumpkin kit, some of the papers will be similar, but this entire stamp and die set will then also coordinate with those stamps and dies. So you can see Adirondack chairs, grass, just new, happy Father's Day, have a great birthday, relax. Here's to a new chapter, great for graduation. It actually cuts out the Adirondack chair that you can stamp, but there is also another one kind of looking straight on. There's a nice little bird. There's birds in the sky. There's a coffee cup. There's a book. Just lots of different images that are going to be so much fun to play with. Hold on. And then this is the gorgeous Waterside Retreat paper. So we have these papers that you can cut out and make all these individual cards or tags for background. Just so fun. A lot of people are calling this the fishing paper. I did not get the full suite. I got everything in the suite except for the little anchored trinkets. They are back in my cart, and I think I've ordered them since then. It was just on that initial order. I was trying to get as much as I could to coordinate, and I knew that that wasn't probably something I was going to use immediately. So just one of those things that are there. So you've got all these images, this gorgeous, gorgeous stripes that you can play with. The colors in this are, let's see, give me just a second. Great Granite, Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, Pool Party, and Very Vanilla. I do think you could probably use white with it as well, not just Very Vanilla. Then coming from a family of fishermen and being raised in a family of just two girls with a dad who was an avid fisherman. I was the tomboy. I was the one that learned to fish. And in my day may have won a casting contest or two. Back when they hosted those things for kids at the fishing rodeos and stuff. Did make some of the boys very happy because I beat them out in casting. But so that's what we did in the backyard. We practiced casting fishing rods. So how fun is that? So lots of fun fish that you can play with. Water paper for the background. Very, very cool. I love this little bicycle. I think it is so pretty and so quaint. Brings it right into, reminds me of one of my other grandmas. My grandpa used to live on the lake, or actually on the Mississippi River, and she always had a bicycle just like this that she would ride. And sometimes when we were down there visiting, she let us ride. She'd have an extra bike for us to ride, and we'd ride around the campground. So it was very cool. These beautiful, beautiful gulls, just perfect. I think they would make a great background for a beach paper, but they would also be great just to cut up and use on a card. Another great seagull paper, same thing, would make a great card, would make a great scrapbook layout. If you wanted to try and lay them out like that, you could do that. The backside is this gorgeous peaceful pine plaid, just so camping related, kind of rustic cabin, perfect. There's life preservers. I think one of the sentiments Oh, someone must have did it. I thought I saw "You're a Real Lifesaver." Maybe it's maybe that's one of the stamps in the paper pumpkin that's coming out. So if you want information about that, drop me a message below, and we'll get you information on that. You need to sign up by April 10th. Some wood grain paper. Loving all the wood grain paper that they're doing. It's so fun to use as an accent. You could use it as a background page. You could use this if you strategically did it right. You could use it on a fishing page. You could use it on a rafting page. You could use it on a sailing page because you've got anchors. These are floats. Could be anchors or whatever you want to do. Life preservers, oars. So just really, really fun. Life jackets. Not always fond memories of those when you're a kid because you have to wear them in the water, but always great to be safe. And then this gorgeous striped papers. They're just so much fun to play with this Waterside Retreat suite. And like I said, the one thing I did not get was the anchor trinkets. And like this would be so cool with your linen thread. I have linen thread sitting here. You could also use the baker's twine set and pull out like the gray granite and just tie that, you know, on there and do some of these, do a couple of little fisherman knot or something across the page, and it would just be so much fun to play with. The next set is actually in the online exclusives. This is just the order that it is in my box. I did buy the entire set to say, like I said, that Winnie the Pooh has been a lifetime favorite of all of ours. Both my husband and I were raised with Winnie the Pooh, watching Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, and my kids all carried around their little lovey. Megan carried a Tigger. Sarah carried an Eeyore. Tigger's face had to be resewn and replaced so many times. Eeyore lost his tail so many times. When I was a kid, I had a stuffed Eeyore. Alex had a blanket that had Winnie the Pooh on it. So just so much fun remembering all these things. So this is the paper from the Silly Old Bear. I am going to show you the stamps and dies just because they can all coordinate with them. So these are the stamps and dies. The stamps do cut out very similar images to the papers, you can see. And the dies, because they are the same, I've seen other people do that, is that it will cut out the images on the character card stocks. Maybe not all of them, but then there's a couple other things. You can see there's a honey pot, there's honey, there's a honeycomb, there's the actual tree trunk, there's some signposts. This cuts out the honey pots. I don't know if you can see in the one stamp set, there's Piglet blowing her, making a wish on a dandelion, and then there's the little dandelion seeds there. There's also this little bitty bees. So just so much fun. This is like a mega suite, so be prepared. There's also then another die and stamp set that has all the sentiments on it, and some frames. You'll see that in a minute, as well as this die set with all these frames and sentiments. It also has some leaves, oak leaves, and some acorns in different sizes, and you'll see where those come into play in just a minute. So on to the paper, the star of the show. Trust me, if you're in the US, you're going to want to get this and get this early. Everyone is talking about this paper. So I have a feeling that it will sell out rather quickly. It will come back in stock, so not a big deal. But I just kind of wanted to let you know. You can usually tell by just how the demonstrators are talking. And everybody I have talked to has just been, I want that paper. So just a heads up. So there's this backside, and you can see that these colors are actually, Pooh is kind of a golden glow color. Eeyore is the hydrangea hue. Tigger is actually the timid tiger, which I said that last year when we got timid tiger, that I really thought we needed to get Tigger, and they should have called it timid Tigger instead of timid tiger, but I'm sure that was a copyright issue. And then Piglet looks like she would perfectly match Barely Blush, excuse me. So here's that with a beautiful cloud base. So fun. That would be on the background. We have another Piglet and Pooh. And here we even have their signatures. Everything. So this would be great with this beautiful Barely Blush plaid. Just perfect for baby cards, for friendship cards, for maybe just, you know, thinking a lot. Everybody who, I always think, I still say it's a blustery day or out there. So there's just so many fun things about life that I think Pooh makes better. And then there are these images that you can use to make cards. This has 8 images on it that you can cut apart. Use it as part of your paper or as part of your cards or as accents on your scrapbook pages. You also have this gorgeous little just Silly Old Bear on parade. You can see all the characters. They're just marching. I think this would be really, really cool. No matter which style of Pooh that you're into. Would be just a great little border like this on the top of a scrapbook page in the bottom or across the middle. So that's something to think about. This is where your dies are going to come in really, really handy. Because instead of having to fussy cut these, I believe it will cut out all these images. So just look at all these little images and vignettes that are going to be perfect on your cards. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 of them just to play with. And then the back on this one is a beautiful kind of peaceful pine color. Just very subtle. Just classic. Perfect for all of them. I'm looking for my favorite scene and I haven't seen it yet, which is the one where Pooh gets stuck in the tree. From eating too much honey. I haven't seen it yet, but hopefully it's there. And speaking of blustery day, here's these lovely little blustery day. The coloring itself is really kind of a gentle, peaceful pine with maybe pecan pie, maybe. But if you look, you've got, when you see Bear in there, he is actually in that golden glow. So it's just really, really cool accents. Then you have the entire map of the 100 Acre Woods, which is just so much fun. And then you have another one that has your Eeyore, Owl, Tigger, and Piglet on the background with this gorgeous little subtle paper on the background. So great for any baby cards or images that you want to do. But there is one more piece to this that I really want to share with you because it's really fun, and it is the 100 Acre Woods 3D embossing folder. This thing is huge. It is 6 by 8, and just to kind of give you an example, now I embossed it in two-tone cardstock really to give you a feel for it, and then what I did is I sanded one side of it. I had some extra of the 24, 26 in colors, and so I don't know if you can see the detail. So this is just embossing it on regular paper. There's a little bit of cracking because I was in a hurry and I really didn't spritz my paper. But then this, I just took my little sanding block and sanded over it. And I loved how it just popped out. So I think this would be really, really pretty on any type of paper. Or even if you did it on white and then just went over it with your ink pad very lightly. So it would just be a great background. So I just wanted to share what that looks like. I think it is so cool. And it's one of the things that I always forget to do with my two-tone cardstock. Next up, we have a very similar paper, or we have Moonlight Flora. So I love butterflies. I can deal with moss. I would say these are actually moss, not butterflies, because of how they're flying. And they lie more flat usually. So that's one of the ways that you can tell them apart. But just gorgeous, gorgeous paper that I want to share with you. This one also has an embossing folder. And I debated about getting this because I remembered from a few years ago we had a fern embossing folder. So I just kind of wanted to show you the differences. The old one that is retired, can get it no more, was just a very small embossing folder, just plain ferns. Ignore the dots. This is how I remember that it's retired, but it's approximately 4 by 6. Great for just individual things, but not covering everything that you might need. So fast forward to the new one, the Fern and Flora 3D embossing folder. It has ferns and all these fawns, and all in different depths. And I did do the same thing so you could see it in the two tones. So here it is, just embossed. And then I took my light sanding block over the top. I realized it would look much better in green. I had a lot of Petunia Pop two-tone cardstock left over, and so I figured this was a good use of it, just to kind of show you the differences. So there's sanding half of it. So I'm not really sure what you think about that. This one also has some embellishments that comes with this set. I'll get into the papers. These are called the Dewdrops embellishments. And I believe it's Pretty Peacock, Lemon Lime Twist, and Clear. This was one that was actually handed out at Onstage. I did not go to Onstage, but so you may have seen these online. But you had these beautiful Fern and Flora with ferns, moss, just a cool background stamps. Some very, very cool sentiments. Thankful for you. I love the mixed fonts. Really seems very beautiful. Some very small, pretty dainty bouquets, as well as some great dies. So you can see the blackout ones that will cut the images here, cut out the butterflies or the moss. However, there's also some detailed ferns that you can cut out. There's a label die. There's some insides of the flowers, and these actually make flowers that you can layer up. So that is going to be very fun. And then the paper, which is just gorgeous. Those of you that may not know me that well, or if you do, I'm a biology major, love just bugs, ferns, just all things kind of botanical. So it's one of just beautiful paper, and I thought this was just absolutely beautiful paper. It's going to be hard to cut it up, but I think you could very easily get at least 6 card fronts out of this, and just have a blast. Or you could do one long one and have things pop out like that. And then there's this very nice subtle kind of green leafy paper on the background, so going to be very fun. Just an all over green fern paper, great for a background, great for anything. And then that gorgeous golden glow. I'm really, really loving this Peaceful Pine with the golden glow. I think it's going to be one of my favorite combinations. And then we add more of the golden glow, and that could be a little bit of Chris Cantaloupe. Hard to tell. So, I mean, you can see there's this has lots of greens in it. I say it's probably more of the golden glow. There is, it looks like some Berry Burst in here. I haven't gotten to the color sheet yet. But I love those little bitty pops of color. Just so much fun. And I'm really, really drawn to these golden gold flowers. So just beautiful paper. There is that gorgeous Berry Burst background paper. Would love to play with this. Would have never thought to put Berry Burst with golden glow, but totally thinks it works. Some of these color combinations are just gorgeous. I'm going to leave this Berry Burst out again. It's the B-side of the last paper, but then here it is with this paper. You can see it really brings out the little bitty buds of the Berry Burst on there. So just, I love the mix of the greens that are on here. Very dainty pattern, and then just a nice neutral pattern to mix and match. So it would be great for making cards. Then we have more ferns. I'm really wanting to mix this with the next suite, because when I think ferns, I think forest, I think Johnny Jump Ups. They look like the little trousers hanging on. Dutchman's bridges. I'm sorry. I should know this. I've had moms that have taught me this forever, but little Dutchman's bridges and that type of thing. Flowers that just kind of bloom alongside them. And little lilies of the valley, which we'll talk about in a minute, that all kind of go with this. And just really, really pretty. Then we have some gorgeous, this looks like Secret Sea on the background. So just really, really fun paper. Would make great all occasion cards. You could probably sneak them in for a masculine card. Maybe not so much with all the flowers, but would be great for sympathy, just about any occasion. And then we have this, another one with these gorgeous greens. And I really like these frosty greens. Just very pretty with the golden glow. And these, almost hard to tell if there's Chris Cantaloupe. I'm going to have to turn that over and see. And then more of the forest or peaceful pine. So the official colors in this are basic black, berry burst, golden glow, mossy meadow, old olive, peaceful pine, pecan pie, secret sea, and soft sea foam. So much fun. I cannot wait to play. So let me put this one away. And then I can show you. We're almost to the bottom, people. I'm not used to doing these long videos. I think I've only got 2 more suites to show you from the new catalog. So once again, we have this is called the Valley and Bloom suite. I did get the entire suite. One thing you'll notice is that these suites don't have ribbon. The ribbon that they have in the catalog will be the new in color ribbon. I did not get that right away. It is on order and it's coming. But definitely wanted to share this. So one of the stars of the show, not necessarily the star of the show, is this gorgeous floral spray 3D embossing folder. I know we have the sunflower embossing folder, but I think you're going to love this one. And I think this one's going to be very, very similar. And I think this one's going to be very popular. So I did the same thing again. You can see it's 6 by 8. You could easily cut it in half and just have it be half your card, or be the front of your card. You could, I suppose, somehow put that over your scrapbook page. But just look, when you just take a little bit of sanding to that, and you could have the same if you did ink over it, but really sanding on it. There's enough on the back, this is it on the B side, that you could come in with that resist technique and do it that way. That is just actually really pretty. I might have to just cut that up and use that as a card. But just gorgeous, gorgeous floral sprays 3D embossing folder. This also includes gems. Trying to remember the colors in these gems. I'm going to have to take a quick sneak peek because I cannot remember. Which is really sad because I've been pretty good. I can't show you the inside, so I'm trying to keep it off to the side, making sure I'm not going to get myself in trouble. These contain Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, and White. So if you don't have a Coastal Cabana ink pad, you might want to think about it because they're saying it coordinates with this. And then these gorgeous Lily of the Valley stamps were stamps on the Lilies of the Valley, both a large sprig and a small sprig. Several other just beautiful, beautiful sentiments. Happy for you, to a forever kind of friend, to one of the nicest people I know. You've got the 2-step leaf stamping, so you could stamp the leaf here and then stamp in the insert. And then the dies do cut out not only the leaf pair, a single strand of the Lilies in the Valley, or the double strand. It also comes out the little one. So the thought with that is you could stamp this and cut it out, and then cut out a separate strand to add over the top of it for dimension. And then there's extra little lily bells or whatever that you could space on there to give a few of them other dimensions. So very, very fun. Put those in there. There is a background trellis die cut, which I've seen a few people use it. I haven't played with it yet. This does come with 2 different papers. So this is a Luxe White paper is one of them. I'm going to try and just hurry up. I'm worried my voice is going to give out on me. But it's actually, it's all white. That's because it's faced inside, so you can see that it's embossed for doing resist techniques. So you've got just a viney, kind of leafy sort of pattern on the background. This would be great to go over with your blending brush. Then you have this hashtag, which it's great with this suite, but it would be great on anything. You could do it in a gray or some of those muted greens, and use it with any suite. So very, very fun. And then there is also this gorgeous Lilies of the Valley with the accent. So, I mean, use as is, use, great for a wedding card, would be great for all those fun things. I cannot wait to play with this. This may be one of the things that you see soon in a card class. Hard to say. Or I just make examples. So that is the Luxe White paper from the suite. And then we have the Valley in Bloom paper, which is the name of the suite. It features Basic Beige, Blackberry Bliss, Coastal Cabana, Darling Duckling, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, Lemon Lime Twist, and Pretty Peacock. Great. Some of my favorite colors. So we have this gorgeous paper. You can see a little bit of the Blackberry Bliss on the Lilies of the Valley. And then the back side is this gorgeous Darling Duckling. Just really, really bright, fun paper. You have this leafy background, very similar to what we just saw. And then some nice little dainty daisies. You have this paper that features the entire thing. So you could use this on a scrapbook page, put in, you know, your center focal point here. You could cut it from the bottom. Use this for card bases with just sky. Use this for card bases, whatever your pleasure would be. With a nice little, just dainty background. Another one of these gorgeous papers that you could cut up and make lots of cards, or you could use on a scrapbook page. You could probably theoretically do something like this. So if you wanted like one big thing here and then kind of swoop it over here, or however you wanted to do that. The B side of this features this nice little, I think it's Basic Beige. It almost looks crumb cakey. Crumb cakey, is that a word? In a plaid, but just very subtle, that I think would go with a lot of things. Another very subtle texture with just a green background. This would be great for die cutting any of your greenery, your sentiment blocks, just background paper. Then you've got some more Lilies of the Valley. I don't know if you can see them. You've got a little bit of that Coastal Cabana in behind it on the papers, with this gorgeous Coastal Cabana plaid on the background. So just really, really fun. Valleys in Bloom suite. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, I think we are down to our last suite. And this one was one that I had to have, but I think I've said that about everything. So this is called Scenic Coast is the name of the suite. And I did buy everything. And I admit, I bought 2 packs of the paper already. Because I know I'm going to use this. I've been really loving when Stampin' Up! Does these scenery papers. And I have found that I use so much more of it than I ever thought I would. But this is specialty paper, which is kind of different. You may have seen this. Matter of fact, there is a current kit out right now in April that kind of features some of these backgrounds. So you could get a sneak peek of that kit and of these papers right now if you wanted. This Scenic Coast paper, you will see colors of Balmy Blue, Blueberry Bushel, Crushed Curry, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and Strawberry Slush. And I'm trying to see if it's showing up. Yeah, you can kind of see there's a glow on here. So I can't remember if it's 8. There's 1, 2, well, here, let's just do it this way. So you get 1, 2, can you see the shimmer? 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get 8 sheets of 6 different pages. And so the one side has the kind of that iridescent foil on it that really makes that sunlight sparkle and shine. And then the back has water scenes. I'll kind of go through so you can see them again. And then this is the back of that one. Just gorgeous. Crushed Curry. So another one of my favorite yellows that we have here. I love the purples. I think this would be so, so pretty, especially when you see all the stamps and dies that go with it, with the purple. We have this other gorgeous sunset paper. Was just that combination of Strawberry Slush and everything. I'm going to try and grab a cough drop here before I go on because I can feel the voice is starting to go a little bit. And then this beautiful sunset with the background. So very subtles on the background, which are great because they make great accents to your card bases, kind of a water paper. You also get, in this set, you get the Sunset Coast. Great stamps, happy retirement, congratulations, happy anniversary. Sailboats, an additional sun, sunset shimmers, kind of like a bridge rock that you see. You get clouds, as well as you get dies that cut out a lot of different things. It cuts out the silhouettes of the lighthouse, the sailboat, the sun rays. You can cut out rocks, the gulls, a fishing net, some seashells, kind of like a fence, and the clouds. Going to be so much fun. With this paper, vellum is still here. We have some Sunset Shimmer vellum. Oh, before I get to that, we have Sunset Sparkle sequins, which go with all those. So love me sequins. So once again, this is Sunset Shimmer Vellum. And you get all right. Sorry, I'm back. Sunset Shimmer Vellum. Gorgeous Balmy Blue vellum. And then I believe it is Barely Blush vellum. And it's got just this lovely sparkle and iridescent. So that is my first unboxing from the May through August catalog, as well as the May online exclusives. Please let me know what your favorite is. I apologize again for the coughing. But it is what it is. At least you got to see it. So let me know what's your favorite, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Have a great day.